o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, may I have roll call, please?
David Walker.
Here.
Soren Peterson.
Here.
Chuck Schultz.
Here.
Al Poole.
Here.
Mike Cunningham.
Here.
Jennifer Eden. Here. And I'm here.
Do we have any changes to the agenda? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Support.
Been motioned and supported to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Agenda is approved. Next is approval of the consent agenda. The regular board meeting minutes, September 4th, 2018, the treasurer's report, and clerk's warrants and bills.
So moved. Support.
Been motioned and supported to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next are communications. Item number 1 is AT&T Metro Act right-of-way permit extension. Item number 2 is Planning Commission approved meeting minutes from June 12th, 2018. Item number 3 is the Planning Commission approved meeting minutes from July 10th, 2018. Item number 4 is Planning Commission meeting synopsis, September 11th, 2018. And item number 5 is the Fire Service report dated August 31st, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and supported to receive communications 1 through 5 and place on file. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next is public remarks. Opportunity for anyone who wants to make any comments about anything going on in the township. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I will. Should I stand?
Yeah, if you could just stand and if you want to state your name so we know who you are.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Leonard Adams. I live at 9326 Hogan Road. I've been a resident of Tyrone Township now. My family and I have for about last 2.5 years. And the reason I'm coming to you and talking to you guys today is a few issues. One of which is the road, Hogan Road, in between Old 23 and Linden. I live on the south side of the road, about a half mile west of Old 23. And the reason I'm coming to you is on a few different things. One is the speed limit of the road. Now I've called a few different people in regards to this, and I've hit roadblocks all along the way. The speed limit's to transition zone where I live, and it goes from 25 to 55. Within about a half mile of Old 23 heading west, yes, heading west, it goes from 25 to 55 miles an hour. I live right about 500 yards into that 55 mile an hour zone. It is hellacious right there. There is absolutely zero respect for the law. And once people come out of that zone, regardless of anybody who lives on that road, they floor it. And within the last year, as of last week, I had a lady flip her car right in front of my house. It almost went through my front window. About 4 years ago, somebody got killed because they were driving too much on that too fast. Last year, in the wintertime, I had a drunk driver run off the road and plant his car right into a tree right in front of my house. Another time, I had a drunk driver stop in front of my house after he swerved off, came to my house, knocked on the window at 2 o'clock in the morning, scaring my wife half to death. This is an ongoing issue that does not stop. I've called the police numerous times, and as we all know, they're only contracted in Tyrone Township between the hours of 3 and 11. Other than that, they are not there. So pretty much, we're unpoliced in those hours unless we call somebody, and
Police.
that's unacceptable. The other thing is, and so to reiterate, I'm looking to get that speed limit lowered between Old 23 and Linden Road to at least 30 miles an hour, 35. Now I get it, people are going to speed, heck, I speed sometimes. 55 miles an hour there on a dirt road, it is a matter of time until somebody else gets killed. As a matter of fact, I mean, My cat got killed there last year. Cat lovers, but I can assure you my wife was quite distraught at that. Going on now. The other thing is up until this year, and there has been a agricultural rock collection point, I guess, at the far end of Logan Road, past Linden. That has opened up my road, I'm sorry, not my road, Township's road, to nothing but semi-tractor trailer trucks coming down my road constantly. I get off work, I'm a flight paramedic for the Army. Sometimes I fly all night. When I get home, I want to sleep. Absolutely zero sleep getting done because I got semis coming down that road with absolutely zero respect for the homeowners. 5 miles an hour. I called the semi companies. I tried to be cordial and show them that, you know, I want to work with them. Zero has been done. I tried to call the aggregate, I believe it's called.
Spring aggregate.
Spring aggregate. I've tried to call them. I've been cordial. I've asked them to do the neighborly thing and try to get the trucks to slow down. They pretty much told me it wasn't their problem. Very polite, but that's exactly what they told me. All I'm asking is, I know there's just possible solutions, an alternate route. I know my Hogan Road route is the most direct route to 23, but there are paved roads that these trucks could utilize, and they do not. I don't think there's a need for me to draw the transition zone that I showed you before, but I'm just asking you, as kind of like the township leaders, look into this. Because I came here from the city, living on that road. And I talked to my neighbors, maybe I should have came here with both barrels loaded and gotten all my neighbors to sign waivers and all that, saying how fed up they are with the road. But I didn't. And if you guys need me to, I will. But I assure you that.
I'm going to give you my card. Will you have your concerned neighbors send me an email just saying, I'd like the speed limit changed? Because once I get, half a dozen of those, then that initiates me to give them a thing. And there is state legislation on speed limit changes. I can request it. I can't guarantee that it'll happen, but at least we'll do what we can do on our part. In regards to the speeding on the road, I'm sure it probably happens all night. Is there any specific time where, is it morning, is it evening?
Morning on the way to work,
Okay.
between 6 and 9, it's a drag strip, and Friday, Saturday nights, the road is definitely used as people coming back from the bar as an alternative route to not get pulled over drunk driving.
Okay.
Happened so much there.
Well, I think what I can do is talk with the sheriff and see if we can set something up to address some of those issues too.
That'd be great. I've called the sheriff many times. I've stopped and thanked them. They've come out. They've been super nice. I've almost felt like I've been a thorn in their side at times because I've called.
They understand.
If you guys can help, I really appreciate
Yep.
it.
I'll see what we can do on that. You're right. They are nice. We've got some good deputies in our township, so I'll look into it and see what we can do.
Thank you for hearing me.
Yeah, please send me the emails, and all they have to do is just say, I want, Mike Cunningham, please look at the speed limit on Hogan Road. We'd like to lower our speed limit, and that's all I need from them. All right, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Public remarks? Well, we don't have any more of those, so we'll move on to unfinished business. We have none. Next, new business. This is the Foster Benacor Land Division. Al, are you willing to speak to this?
Yeah, this is kind of a first step in a larger plan. This is a 10-acre division off from 110 acres, and upon completion of this, then we want to look at rezoning to PCI, and they want to build a business in there, so.
Yeah, I think we gave a conditional approval on this, and we set an REU standard for that previously at the board. And the rezoning should be pretty straightforward because it's already master planned for PCI,
right.
so it's just a conditional formality with a public hearing.
I believe so. So anyway, I would make a recommendation. They've met all our standards for land division, and I'd recommend approval of the Benacor land division.
So can I get you change your recommendation to a motion?
Yeah, I'd make a motion that
Okay.
we.
Great.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the Foster Benacourt Land Division. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, that's been approved, so we'll have to get some things signed here for you. And there you go. I told you to get going pretty quick here. Once it gets to the board, you know, we know what's going on, so.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
You're welcome.
thank you.
Have a great evening.
You too.
Next is a boundary realignment. It's item number 2. It's Fultz Pine Meadow boundary realignment, Al.
Yep, and this one, we just had a few cleanup items we needed them to do, and they went ahead and did that, and submitted everything, and so they meet all of our boundary realignment and land division requirements, and so I would make a motion that we approve the Fultz Pine Meadow boundary realignment.
Support.
Been motioned and supported to approve the Pine Meadow boundary realignment. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next is Medical Marijuana Act moratorium 90-day extension. This would be a resolution. Our current moratorium is expiring, and we do not have we haven't completed our revisions to the ordinance. So I'm asking the board to extend that moratorium for 90 days while the planning commission still works on it.
Finish theirs. Okay. So moved.
Support.
I'm sorry, so resolved.
Thank you. It's been resolved and supported to
Change your mind.
enact a 90-day moratorium extension for the medical marijuana. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Al Poole,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
David Walker,
Yes.
and I say yes.
So that's been resolved. Item number 4 is the RICO copier lease. Marcy, you ready?
Sure. So, 2 years ago, we leased a second copier because of all of the volume that we have in here. And we moved the original one that we had into the back, and the lease expired in August last month. And so I was in contact with Rico to find out whether or not we should buy out the lease or whether we should turn this one in and get a new copier. And our representative was out this morning, actually, and he says that our copier, based on the usage, has a lot of life left in it. So my recommendation is that we go ahead and buy the lease out for $982.94. And we'll still have maintenance on it. It's still going to be covered under a maintenance agreement. And then hopefully this one will last us for 3 years, which it sounds like it will, at which time then we can look into leasing 2 copiers at the same time and possibly get a better price on it. But we had service out this morning because he recommended that we have a technician come and check it out, and he's like, it looks like it's brand new. So I see no reason to turn it in. It's working fine. They like it back there. It's a little slower, but if they need something faster, they can come up and use the one up front. So that was my recommendation, was to go ahead and buy it out and keep it. And then at the end of, well, when we decide to get rid of it, we can either sell it. He said we could probably get $1,000 or $2,000 right now for it, donate it, or they'll come and pick it up and recycle it for $75 or $100. So we aren't going to be stuck with it and trying to figure out a way to dispose of it.
Is he saying you're thinking useful life is an additional 3 years?
At least 3 years.
Then will the service and maintenance agreement cover that full 3-year window?
Yes.
Okay. So we don't have any out of pocket from that standpoint, then?
No, this price is good through October 7th, and then our lease payment is $107.36 a month. So if we buy it out, then we won't be making
That
those.
goes away then.
Right. So I guess I'll make the motion to go ahead and buy out the lease on the Rico copier.
I'll support.
Been motioned and supported to buy out the copier lease on the Rico copier. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Next is item number 5. Been talking with our road supervisor, and we have about 5 or 6 roads in the township that had limestone put in them. That limestone is totally degenerated, and it's a mess.
It's dust.
Yeah, it's a really bad dust. When it's dry, it's like a dust storm comes through every time a car goes through. And when it gets wet, it gets really sloppy and sticky. So the road commission has fixed 3 of the roads. They asked if we could do this one this year. The cost for it is $10,000. And they'll put about 4 inches of gravel down and it'll take care of that limestone problem. The next one that we would have to address is up north. The name of the road is, can't think of the name, but it's another short road.
Nymphy?
No, it's Whitaker. That's it, Whitaker Road. So that one will have to be addressed next year. There's money in the budget to do this. I know that we're looking at a big project that we're actually going to sit down next month with the road commission and have a discussion to what our options are there and what we can work out. But in the meantime, I didn't think that this was too much. I just don't want everyone to think that just because we're doing this one road that we're going to go around and do every residential road. This one just happens, they put
Be particularly bad.
particularly bad and should be addressed. So we can elect to do it or elect not to do
And
it.
it's within our budget window, right, for the money
Oh,
that
yeah.
gets set aside for road improvement? Okay. So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and supported to approve the $10,000 for Sonora Drive. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Next is a recognition of the Fenton Youth Football and Cheer as a nonprofit organization. This will have to be a resolution. It is required legally for them to get a resolution from the local government to recognize them as a, what is it, a
501c3.
501c3.
So if we don't recognize them, they won't be a 501c3?
No, they can't get their raffle
Okay.
license.
It was just a really bad sentence, that's all.
Yeah. It's just part of the process for
It's
them to
their
get their
process to
raffle
get their
license.
license.
I'm just saying it was a poorly worded sentence. so.
Not to be that guy.
Not to be that guy. Not to be that guy. It was a poorly
You usually say that, right?
Yeah.
So,
That was a poorly worded sentence. Meaning that if we don't recognize them, they don't get to be, they have no not-for-profit status. That's,
oh, we're pretty powerful up here, right?
I don't think we got that, I don't think that's in our wheelhouse.
I don't either, but let's move forward with it.
What possible reason can anybody sitting at this table say not to do this? So resolved, support. Okay.
It's been resolved and supported to recognize Fenton Youth Football and Cheer as a nonprofit organization. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
David Walker.
Yes.
Jennifer Eden.
Yes.
Soren Peterson.
Yes.
Al Poole.
Yes.
Mike Cunningham.
Former football player? Yes.
Chuck Schultz.
Yes.
I say yes.
We have no miscellaneous business. Public remarks. Anybody? Public comment? Yes, ma'am.
May I just ask a question, please?
Yes.
My name's Carol Pajala, I live in Keller Williams. I just wanted to inquire whether item number 1 was approved.
Yes.
I apologize for my tardiness.
Yep, it was approved.
It was.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Representing the
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I just have a question. My name is Pam Williams, and I live across the street from the Gardner Cemetery.
From which cemetery?
Gardner. That's
yeah.
on Heartland Road.
Yeah.
It really needs some work. I'm not sure how to go about, like, the fencing is getting bad. A tree came down, and my husband went over there and cut it down and removed it.
the kids have been driving in and out around on their four-wheelers, it doesn't lock, the kids don't lock, it's just nasty. And I'm wondering, is there any way that I go about, like, get quotes on fencing or whatever needs to present it?
What's the,
No, we
Yeah.
don't.
we don't have a cemetery budget because like, are we even allowed to spend money on that?
Well, we're not allowed to spend money to maintain the headstones, but I don't know about a fence. What?
We mow the lawns, don't we?
We do. So I don't know about whether or not we're allowed to.
And we can have well, I understand that, yeah. I'm just concerned about, a lot of kids have been hanging out in there, riding their four-wheelers around in there.
Is this nighttime that they're doing this?
Oh, all the time, daytime, all summer long, and, you don't want to mess with the kids, but at the same time.
It's a resting place, right?
Give me a call, I'll be that guy.
Not to be that guy, but I'll be that guy.
Kind of a
Kids,
thing.
I mean, we've had guys with their big pickup trucks running through there, and going around in circles. I don't know what all they're doing, but a few of the headstones have gotten knocked over. I mean, we know this because we go over there all the time. We clean it up. And the sign needs painting, and there's just other things, so. And I'm just not sure as just like neighbors of the, can we paint the sign? I mean, can we take care of it, or is that, are we overstepping our bounds? I'm not sure. Legally, what we're
We
supposed to do.
we'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of legislation. I don't know that if we can, I don't know if we can or cannot use township funds for the cemetery, but we can look into it.
I go to the county?
No, it would be local. I just, legislation changes all the time of how we can spend our money. It's a constant battle. So if we get these set of rules every year, and then the next year they change, and the next year they change. So we'll have to look into it. So,
And if you can
And see what we
find,
can
and if
do.
you can find private donors or somebody willing to donate the money.
Or a group.
Somebody donate money for the other fence at Cowell?
They donated the fence.
yes, they did.
Okay, you have private.
It was a anonymous donor.
So if I can get donors
Mm-hmm.
fencing?
That would not be a problem, no?
Sure.
All right. Well, how do I go to who?
You'd like to find that anonymous donor, wouldn't you?
I'm willing to put some of the money in.
Yeah,
We want it to look nice, and a lot of our founders are in that cemetery. We'll just-
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to look into that a little bit.
Maybe we should take a trip out there tomorrow and take a look at it.
We'll look at it,
Can,
see what we can
do you
do.
want to give Terry your phone number, and we can give you a call tomorrow?
Yeah, at the end of the meeting, just give it to
If
her.
I do get donors, do I have to come before the board to get approval? Fence put in, or can we just have the fence put in, or how does that?
Well, I think we'd have to approve it, just to make sure that it's consistent with the,
Ordinance.
And the township can give you the name of the guys that did the one on
Yeah, I already spoke to him.
White Lake Road. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know it was him, but it was Chuck that followed the
Yeah.
fence, and he told me about this. He
Yep.
says, go to your township hall, so I'll give you my name.
So is there a place in specific that they're able to get through?
Well, there's openings at both ends, and there's
Okay.
gates, and they just leave the gates open, and they just ride around, and they party in the back, and it's.
So it's
I
not
don't
being
know.
locked up?
I don't know if we should call the police.
It's never been locked up.
Yeah, you should. If they're in there, call the police.
none of them are
On certain hours, we do have a dedicated patrol car, so they'll make their way over there.
I mean, the best case scenario is the gates are closed, but they're never locked.
No, they've never been locked.
And then they'll,
There used to be locks on them, but they were
Yes.
never locked. They used to wrap them around.
Yes.
well, maybe we
Somehow
should,
someone got them done,
we should maybe lock those up and have a, what?
How do you lock them
Yeah.
every day and lock them
No,
at night?
you
and
lock
them?
lock
I don't
down,
have
you
that.
lock the big ones so vehicles can't go in, but you have an opening so people can walk in.
But I'll also tell you that lock gates only keep honest people out.
Yeah,
They
they'll
wanna
break
get
the
in there and
locks
screw
anyway.
around.
Right.
It's called a bolt
Yeah, they've
cutter.
already broken.
Master key.
Or bolt, all it takes is a bolt cutter.
With all these cordless tools now,
Not that I've ever done anything like that, but I'm telling you, all it takes is a bolt cutter.
I'm not gonna tell you which one. 'Cause I don't know. All right, any other remarks?
I may have in the past.
All right, so we have no more business. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
It's been motioned and supported to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you for coming.
7:25.
No, it's 7.
Point spread
Yeah,
is
7:25.
points on Saturday. That's pretty good.
People don't have respect for anything anymore.
No,
They don't.
Michigan, Nebraska.
I never would have
the young
thought
people.
of taking off to
Oh.
a cemetery and
Heck
tearing
no.
around.
We got our asses kicked if we were caught doing that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, I was thinking, where's the
You couldn't
parent?
even, when I was young, you couldn't even sit in the bus with a bunch of us with our
That's the curly hair one with the glasses.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't do it. You had to go to somebody's house. You couldn't go to the school. You couldn't do nothing.
Comes in, very nice, smiles.
People do that.
She's just an interested resident.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Lady that
I'm
was
wondering
sitting in
if
the
she's
back.
Oh, it could be smart.
recording it. We're taking notes because there's.
Hey, never discount the possibilities of stuff.
Oh,
She shows it to the end of your driveway.
Yeah, her son's the one that's
Her
doing
son's
the...
doing the Boy Scout thing.
yeah, okay.
So I bet you she's here taking notes or.
For what?
Her son's the one doing the community service for Boy Scouts.
I'm not sure I'd use the term community service, but
Well, okay.
that is a
Well,
connotation.
it's still.
Usually anytime I hear community service, before that goes corridor